video of something that I want to have a faff around with. So, I've been faffing around with chickpeas this week. So I now have a glut of cooked chickpeas, which I want to do something with. I'm not going to throw them away, but I also don't want to put them all in the freezer. So, I'm going to use them like a mashed potato on top of a beef ragu, kind of like cottage pie type of thing. So this is ragu made from the trimmings of a roast beef joint. So the bits that were a little bit, that kind of got too small to kind of carve, and the end bits that were a little bit too crusty, I made a ragu out of those bits. And it was silver side, so there's like a long strip of cartilage type of thing, sinew, cartilage, probably sinew. I don't know. Connective tissue along the side of the silver side, and it's so you always cut it off before you kind of carve. But it's basically just if you reduce it, if you cook it in water, it turns into gelatin with a little bit of fat. So that goes into ragu as well, and it melts in. It makes the ragu kind of like delicious. So that's the ragu, and then I put in extra onions I had kicking around the house, and then some lumps of feta. So those are lumps of feta as well. So it's kind of going to be a kind of a cottage pie-ish, but topped with mashed. We'll move it out of the way. Mashed chickpeas instead of mashed potatoes or polenta. So I did like a Mediterranean cottage pie, and I used polenta instead of mashed potatoes, and did a pork ragu. I think it was pork ragu instead of like minced beef that was slowly cooked down until tender and then thickened up with gravy granules. So bits of stuff on the board. So I have got more chickpeas, but I didn't want to overload myself in case they don't mash down just as easy as possible. Oh, have I broken my cooker? No, that's fine. So mash these down, and we'll give them a season. I think I'll need more than this, but I didn't want to put too many in the pan because I've been out for a walk. I'm a bit tired, and I'm going to go swimming. So I don't want to overload the pan because I won't be able to mash them just as easy. So better to do it in two smaller batches than one big one. So that's mashing kind of quite easy. So they were cooked, but just to make them easier to mash, what I've done is I've just covered them in boiling water, brought it up to the boil, simmered for a couple of minutes just to get some heat through them, because if things are hot, they're easier to mash. So we certainly need some salt in there. Now we're certainly going to need some pepper. We need to put more pepper in the pepper mill. Hang on. Right, there we go. So, more pepper in the pepper mill. I was thinking I can maybe do with a clear glass or plastic pepper mill, and I could see how much pepper's left in it. But then I'd just get a bit, then I'd know I have to fill up the pepper mill, and I'd just put it off as long as possible. And sometimes it's better things just happen and run out, and it'd be a surprise that they run out, or keep going. So, but that's a question of how you want to live your life, isn't it? And then generous amount of butter. So my sister's birthday, and she came round. I cooked pie and mash and peas at my mum's house for her and my brother-in-law. It's whatever she wants. It's her birthday, and she always wants me to make her a steak pie. She had it once and decided it was I'll tell the full story. So it was during, we were kind of coming out of lockdown, so there was a lot of kind of COVID happening, and they were going to go up to see my brother-in-law's parents, but they all kind of got a bit of COVID up there, so they couldn't go up and see them. So they kind of last minute they decided that they'd come and spend Christmas with me and Mum. And I'd already said to Mum that, if there's just the two of us this year, I'll just make us meat pie and some mash and some peas and carrots, and that'll be it. I don't feel the need to faff around with doing anything, like a roast chicken or anything like that. We'll just make it easy. And I had the things in the freezer, so that's kind of what we did. And then my sister announced last minute that she was going to come with us for Christmas Day, and I was like, oh well, I said, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing like a cooked dinner. I'm just going to do like steak pie and mash and carrots and peas, and then there'll be like trifle for dessert or something like that. And she was like, oh, that'll be fine. And then she decided it was the best pie. She came, enjoyed it, had the best pie, and decided it was a lovely pie. And then messaged me the next day and said, that was the best pie I've ever had. So from now on, whenever it's her birthday, she wants to come to my mum's house and me to cook pie for her. I don't know where that was going. Where was that going? Don't know why we got onto that subject. But anyway, so I'll know when I rewatch this video back. So mash them up, butter. Oh yes, that was it. So it was this week, and she came around and she saw how much butter I put in the mashed potatoes and went, ooh, that's a lot of butter for that mashed potato. And I was like, might even put even more in. And it is one of the secrets of cooking, lots of butter. Oh, it needs a bit more. It needs a bit more. Yeah, so one of my waitresses, her dad wanted to cut back on what he was eating, cut back on carbs, and he decided that he'd have mashed chickpeas instead of mashed potato, and it worked for him. He lost kind of quite weight. So I suppose this is kind of where the idea comes from as well. It certainly needs some more salt. Wash fingers. I think that'll be smooth enough. So I'll need to do another batch. Right, so how does that taste? And then we can put cheese on top as well. Bit more salt. I think when I'm cooking the chickpeas, a lot of the flavour of the chickpeas was washed out when I reheated them in the water. But not to worry, that will be enough salt. And then we'll just put this on half, and then I'll mash some more. And then you don't need to see me mash more chickpeas, do you? No. So that butter out of the way, that can go in the other half. But we'll just see how far. I won't mind some chickpeas going in the freezer, but we'll see. So I think this will be nice, rich creaminess of the chickpeas. Oh no, with the rich creaminess of the. You know, we might just almost have enough. The richness of the ragu with the sharpness of the feta, and then the creamy butteriness of the chickpea on top, and crispy cheese. I think this will be really nice. Oh, we don't need any more. That'll do. So those other chickpeas can get cooled down and put in the freezer, ready for some kind of other project. And I suppose this is more of a lesson of what have you got. If you haven't, have you got potatoes? Then use potatoes, turn them into mash and put them on top of a cottage pie. See, if you haven't, use chickpeas. You know, and I suppose essentially it is a peas pudding type of thing, isn't it? Peas pudding is made out of split yellow peas. So I suppose you could do the same with split yellow peas. And that would be nice with a ham underneath it, wouldn't it? Because peas pudding goes with ham. So that there like that. Wash hands again. And then a bit of pre-grated cheese out of the freezer, because we've always got things like that in the freezer because we don't like waste. Be a bit of leftover cheese from work that I've just grated. Well, I've had the grater out, and you just think, well, I'll just grate that cheese as well, and then stick it in the freezer, and we can just get it out when we need a bit of cheese for putting on the top of something. There should be enough cheese here. Just. So, just for a little bit of extra decadence. Cheese on top, and then we'll bake it. I'm going to put it in the oven 125. So the top's already hot. We'll put it in 125 centigrade, not Fahrenheit, and then I can go be out of the house swimming for an hour and a half. I don't actually swim for an hour and a half, but by the time I've been to the gym, swam, and then had a shower and got home, it's about an hour and a half round trip type of thing. Maybe a little bit less, but you can stick that in and it'll be fine in the oven at 125 for an hour and a half, and then you can just turn it up when I get home, and that'll be a lovely tea for me. I think this will be ready. I think this will be ready. It looks it. The cheese hasn't gone bubbly. Oh, that's a little bit disappointing. Cheese hasn't bubbled up, but not to worry. Open off. Not wasting any fuel because I'm sure it's ready. So, cutting cheese, always use scissors so you can get your portions and the first person doesn't get all the cheese. Unless you are the first person, then it is your, and it's only if you're only eating it, you can have as much cheese as you like. But scissors just cut through cheese just a little bit easier. So, big portion because I'm hungry. I had breakfast, went for a walk, and we went to a place that does Vietnamese dumplings, and we had them for breakfast. That's just not quite going how I wanted, but not to worry. Didn't hold together, but we'll take a picture anyway. But let's give it a taste, see what we think. Everything that went into it was nice, but that doesn't mean that everything that combined together is going to be nice. So, bit of the ragu, bit of the cheese, bit of the top, well, bit of the chickpeas, but it should be nice. We'll see. It's nice as that. It's nice as that. So, if you want an alternative to mashed potatoes on top of your cottage pie, you can use chickpeas. Or if you wanted to use chickpeas up, you can use them as an alternative to topping on a cottage pie. Or you could use polenta on top of the cottage pie. And we can use ragu and make it more of a Mediterranean cottage pie type of thing. Certainly with the chickpeas, that's quite Mediterranean, isn't it? And with polenta on top, either or. So that's nice, it works, and a good way of using up some chickpeas that I wouldn't really know what to do with otherwise. I didn't want to make it and turn it all into hummus. I've eaten it for months, but anyway, that's delicious. That's success.